question about how much the film changed from the script stage to what we see now.
I think I found the script to be very successful, both structurally and in the way that it interweaved all of these different facets, the romance, the mystery, the action. So I didn't want to mess with that. The only thing was really the tone for me that I wanted to change, and then we came to the ending, and I really felt like there was something missing. Because originally the ending was a very straightforward, romantic, happy ending, and it didn't work for me. I just found it too saccharine. And as a sci-fi geek, there was this loose thread that I just couldn't help wanting to address, and I couldn't let it go. Well, okay, so the ending. Do you want us to get right to the end?
People have seen the movie.
Okay.
So the ending. Don't give anything away.
If you assume that Colt Stevens is right, and he's basically jumping from a reality where he is being sent on a mission to a parallel reality, it's not just that he's living the last 8 minutes of someone else's life. He's actually being shifted into a parallel reality and into the past of that parallel reality where he's able to stop the train from blowing up. So that means that there is obviously, in this parallel reality, another Colt Stevens at the facility where Goodwin is based, who has not yet been sent on a mission because the train never blew up. So it's really important in my mind that he is able to let Goodwin know that this Colter needs to be saved. But I think what I really liked about it is rather than just having the happy ending, you have all sorts of ethical implications at this point. Because by Colter jumping into this parallel reality, he's basically booted Sean Fentress out of his own body and killed him. He's also repeated this event of performing the source code, and each time that he's failed, he's created an entirely new reality where a terrorist event has occurred. Successfully. So he's actually killing hundreds of people, let alone one. Yeah, well that's a starting point. I know there was another one as well. Those are the things that I found kind of interesting, and I didn't want to let them go.
There'll be an exam on this on Friday. Other questions? Here? Questions about the theories about parallel reality, how much of it is Duncan's, how much is the writers, how much comes from people like Philip Dick and J.B. Ballard.
It's funny because Ben Ripley wrote this script, and it was a new experience for me to come on board someone else's idea, someone else's world, and try and realize it. While we were making the film, I actually only had a brief opportunity to talk to Ben, and it was really, he came down to visit the set while we were in the middle of shooting, and we sort of, said hello and said how much he loved what we were doing, and that was it. It wasn't until after we finished the film that I really got a chance to catch up with Ben and really make sure that I understood what it was that he was writing. Fortunately, I think we were pretty much on the same, we had the same interpretation of what it was that he was going after. I think being a stickler for detail, I really wanted to get a little bit more into at least what the repercussions were of the science fiction's conceit that he'd come up with. I know that in early drafts of the script, he had included an awful lot more description and exposition of how the source code worked, and I think sensibly he pulled a lot of that out, because that's not what the film's about. I mean, it's important to set up the world and the idea, but really it's about Colter Stevens and Christina, this woman he meets on the train, and Captain Goodwin, and it's about the relationships between those people and how they change, over the course of the film. I don't know if that answers it.
On the train when, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but on the train when Colter learns that he's been reported dead, like in that moment, things got all pixelated for him, and then he went back to the holding room or whatever without being exploded. And I didn't quite follow why that happened.
Yeah.
A question about when Colter jumps back into the cell after he learns that he's been reported dead and everything gets all pixelated. What was happening there?
I guess, you know, we play a little poetic license there. The idea that the information he's receiving is so overwhelming that it kind of distorts this bridge that he's been able to have to a parallel reality. So he's kind of, you know, he's sort of sucked back through because of that complete crash of his understanding of the reality and the new information that he's being given.
So is he a risk for that happening again? From
What
the
in,
stress
at the end of the
yeah,
film?
after the end
I think he's pretty much. I think he's stabilized by then. I think he's, and I think he's. There's not really anywhere to go back to at that point, because Goodwin has shut him down in the original reality.
Although it does beg the question that your new ending conveniently leaves the door open for a source code too. Is that something you would consider?
If I could get Mute made, I'd do anything. No, I'm very happy with the film we've made, and I'm very excited about launching it out to the water now and seeing how it floats. But
there's a lot of potential. You could have kind of like a psychotropic James Bond.
You could. There's a lot of opportunity. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the film. I feel like my plate runneth over rather than my cup.
Other questions? Back there, yes. Question. Russell Peters, that's the comedian. Yes, is he considered? How did he get the role?
Russell Peters was a massive risk and a massive opportunity for us. There was comedy written in the script. It was okay. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best, but Ben Ripley did a noble effort with it. But the opportunity to work with a stand-up comedian, someone who does this for a living, was too good to pass over. We offered him the opportunity to write his own material at the end of the film, and I naively allowed him to not show it to me until we started shooting. When it came to shooting day, he did it, and it was hysterical, but it was so bloody rude that we could hardly use any of it. It wasn't PG-13 rating applicable. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to put it on the DVD, because it's very funny. It's just too blue. We couldn't use it. So there was a couple of little slices that we were able to put in there, and I think they were enough for the job that we needed to do in the film. I think it would have been lovely to get a couple of great one-liners in there, a bit more comedy, but there just wasn't enough material that